Good morning, boys. What is up? Today is Wednesday, January 21st. I don't know why it took me so long. Today was a very simple read in the market. I took a long and won. It says that it was a loss. On the drawing tool, I did take profit. I actually took profit like here. I'm not going to lie. I'll go over why in a second, though. Actual TP would have been up here. Honestly, I would have closed. You guys know the way I trade. I always put my TP like 5 to realistically, like I'll close at the body. If it's a wick, I'll close pretty early. That's just the way I trade because I've been edged so many times. We also made a bearish S&T here with yes to the point where like, oh my God, yes, this is hypothetical. This would not have been a losing trade for me. It would have been break even. If I got greedy and I held to this high, it would have been break even. 90% of the time, I'm closing trades 5 to 10 points before they hit take profit just for safety precautions. And I think it's greedy to aim for those 5 to 10 points when you're already right about 90% of the move. That's just how I view trading. If I'm right about 80 to 90% of the move, I should not have that turn into a loss, right? Or finally moving up on Nasdaq. Yo, we're chopping forever. All right. So coming to market open. Okay, by the way, 6,000 on the day. I made 600 per account on 10 accounts, right? I have 5 Tradeify instant fundings, 50Ks, and I have 5 150s with Flex. I got paid out I was gonna say I got paid out 150K. I got paid out 150. Jesus, again. I got paid out 3,000 per account, so 15,000. That's the number I was thinking of. Basically, yesterday from Lucid Flex, they are the best prop firm in the industry right now, in my opinion. They literally paid me out in a span of 20 minutes. The money was in my bank account, which is ridiculous. Or not in my bank account, sorry. Within 20 minutes, I got the email saying the money was sent, so I should get it today, and the payout was approved. If you go see my TikTok, the payout was literally approved 5 seconds after I requested the payout. So it's payout requested, the next email, literally 1 second later, payout approved. Payout requested, payout approved. Instead of getting 5 emails saying 5 payouts requested, because 1 per account, I got payout requested, payout approved, payout requested, payout requested, payout approved, payout approved. It's actually like mind-blowing to me, right? Anyways, enough yap for today. Sorry about that. So I see. What do we do? Overnight, we just sweep previous day low. So we sweep previous day low. We see the 4 hours start to reject. Sweeping previous day low obviously isn't enough for me to go long based off that. But what do? We see previous day low, and we see a huge rejection on the hourly, and the 4 hours starts just moving up. Right? The 15-minute at this point is also completely bullish. What do I notice? I hopped on a call pre-market with the Discord, and I told them today I am bullish. Right? I told them London highs, New York PM high. These are my draws. Unfortunately, we did sweep them pre-market, which is kind of stupid. I hope you get long to them at market open, but nothing we can do about that. What else do we have? Right? We have yesterday's midnight open. We have these highs resting above us. Most importantly, we have new week opening gap. Right? But I'm not gonna long all the way to new week opening gap, right? Because that is from market open, that is a 295 point move. I preferably, the way I trade is I use the higher time frame for my bias, meaning, or for my draws, meaning NWOG. That is my draw. My draw is all the way up here. This is my magnet, right? My magnet to price. I want price to come trade up here, right? But there's going to be a million internal highs on the way there, right? So I'm going to use those as my targets. Or in this case, they're actually external. They're not even internal, right? I did take a trade to an internal high, however, but I see we have this high here. We have midnight open. We have this high here. What are these? These are draws on liquidity. These are magnets in the markets, right? But am I using them to take profit? No, I'm actually not. You'll see what I use now, right? I use them to judge my bias. I think all right, price wants to come all the way up here clearly, right? I see. Then we make a 15-minute gap inside what? Inside OTE. You take the bottom of the range to the high of the range, and you tap equilibrium. So all right, we know that this range is now a valid range. It's balanced. And then what do I see? We sweep this low. Or actually this one right here. You swoop this low. What is this low? That is a bearish candle. That is the last bearish candle before a sweep of sell side. We sweep sell side, tapping into 0.5 of the range. Displays to the upside, candle closure above the previous bodies. Open to the downside. What is this? CISD. What do I see? We have these highs above me. These are great draws on liquidity. Unfilled 3-minute gap, as well as a high inside a bearish 2-minute gap that originally sent price lower. This is a very good target. What do? I go long right here. Now, I turned on one-click trading because a lot of people, actually some of my students were telling me that the way I've been trading TradeAway is very makeshift. I just market order enter and market order exit, but I keep having to click confirmation when I want to exit trades. So they helped me get one-click trading, which is just like a setting. You go here and you click trading, and then you go one-click trading. So it's basically like, oh, you click you click buy, you're in the trade. You click sell, you're in the trade. You click close position, you're out of that position. You don't have to click confirmation, because I was getting shittier fills because I kept having to like click enter, and then confirm, and then sometimes by the time I click confirm, price already moved 20 points from where I wanted to enter, right? So I'm in here. Yesterday I went very high risk because I was very confident in that trade. So I went high risk and I risked 4 minis yesterday. I was risking 1,600 to make 3,300, and TP hit, of course. So I was going to trade 1 mini because I'm trading 50Ks now, and the proper risk is 1 mini. I'm basically trading 50Ks because my buffer on the Flex accounts is now $3,000, and my buffer on the Tradeify accounts are $2,000. Right? So I don't have that $4,500 wiggle room anymore. I have $2,000 to $3,000. Well, now I have basically actually $4,000 because I won my trade. But at this point in time, I'm basically trading 1050Ks by my logic. Just because I'm trading on 150K doesn't mean that's the buffer it has, because after you take a payout, your buffer is whatever you make it. And I made my buffer $3,000. So I don't have the room to trade more than 2 contracts anymore. So I was going to enter the trade with just 1 mini. However, since I traded with 4 minis yesterday, there's a thing here. When you enter a trade, it said, I just posted a video about it. You guys should check it out. It basically said 4 contracts instead of 1. And I didn't see that. I didn't notice how it worked. I thought it was still going to ask me how many contracts I wanted to fucking enter with, like a normal person would. But no, it didn't. So 4 minis long, price pumped up. I saw it was up $1,000 like almost instantly. I closed immediately, and I got filled for like plus 600. So low-key should have made a little more money, but I can't complain because if price opened lower, I think I would have blown my accounts. It was such a stupid mistake. Realistically, yes, that would have hit TP here. We had an SMT with ES. If you look at ES took out that high. What am I doing wrong? ES took out that high before Nasdaq did. We had a bearish SMT there, so this would have been a break even, at least a break even. Another trade I really liked personally was this one right here. Stops below here, TP up here. Why do I like this trade so much? Well, what is this? A sweep of sell side, right? Not only is it also an IFEG, but it is also a change in state in delivery, right? Because we close above the body of the last move to the downside that created the sweep of sell side. What do we do here? We close above the body of the last move to the downside that created the move of sell side, or the sweep of sell side. And once again, candle closure above the last, above the start of the move that caused the sweep of sell side. 1 minute CISD coming out of what? Coming out of a 15-minute gap, targeting this high. However, ES did take out that high far before Nasdaq did, but I did like the fact that ES had an hourly gap above it. So it still had price drawing it to something. It wasn't like, for example, if we swept this high on ES, I would have closed immediately on Nasdaq. But the fact that it's just an internal high on the way to a higher time frame high with an hourly gap drawing it above it, I didn't really mind it. I didn't take it. Once again, my students were taking it, and I was kind of narrating them through it. But this was a great trade. Definitely a better trade than this one. Partly because this one didn't play out, right? If we actually got a candle closure above this, would have been just as good as an entry, right? It still would have been a CISD. Great fucking trade, right? Pretty simple day. You could have entered here. You could have entered here actually off the IFEG. If you trade that way, I would have waited for the CISD. You could have also entered long literally right here. You create an order block, and that risk reward is negative. Okay. You cannot have entered long here unless you're targeting a higher draw on Nasdaq. But this is an entry confirmation. I will use this often as an entry confirmation, right? An order block being created. Why? It's a clean break of structure. You closed above this wick right here, right? That's a nice entry. Overall, very clean trading day. You had the CISD, you had this IFEG, you had a displacement along the entire leg. I entered off this displacement here, in and out in 30 seconds. Pretty simple day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to join the free Discord. I'll leave that link in the bio, or just leave a comment and I'll be there to answer. All right. Current stock, as I mentioned before, is Tradeify Instant Funding 50Ks. I recommend their select accounts. I really recommend their select accounts. And I love the Lucid Flex. I made a video covering how the Lucid Black works. If you guys want to watch my, it's a reel I posted yesterday. You can check that out. But I still recommend the Flex accounts. I still think the Flex is much better, right? Because realistically, most of you guys aren't hitting that profit goal that is required for that bonus payout. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out Lucid Trading. Of course, code Ale. Read through the rules, see which accounts you guys like, right? Hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you boys tomorrow. Peace out.